Hi and welcome to Priori Digital Studio tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to set up and use your honeymoon travel planner in the most efficient way. In this video, I am using Google Sheets, but the Excel version is exactly the same. First thing, we protect most of the cells where there are formulas to make sure that you don't erase any important formulas that could impact the spreadsheet. So if you see this message, it means that you are not supposed to touch this cell. But don't worry, I will show you step by step how to prepare your spreadsheet. If by mistake you touch a cell with a formula and see this message, you can simply click on the X and you will be fine. Moreover, we established a color code to show you which cells can be edited and which one cannot. So basically, you only can edit the cells where you have a white background. On another important note, please do not move a cell from one place to another. If you do move a cell, it could generate an issue by messing up the automation of the spreadsheet. The best way to avoid these errors is to copy and paste your data. Now let's take a look at the Setup tab. The first tab is the Setup tab. In this tab, you will set up all your information needed for this spreadsheet. The first step is to enter your currency symbol. Not the currency symbol of your travel destination, your currency symbol. The second step is to enter your destination. And the third step is to enter your vacation dates, defined with the start dates and the end dates. For each date, simply type in the year, select the month, and then type in the day. So now let's take a look at the Travel Research and Reservation tab. So we skipped the Travel Overview tab because this is like a summary of the whole spreadsheet, so we will come back at the end. In the Travel Research and Reservation tab, it will help you organize all the research you will be doing before deciding on a destination, as well as the reservation once your destination is decided. I added a few data beforehand to show you how it would look like. All the tables work the same way, so let's take the destination table as an example. In this table, the only thing you have to do is to fill in the information manually. Once you've decided on a destination, simply tick the box and the line will highlight your choice. Be careful, some cells have automated calculations. So let's take the accommodation table as an example. You can list many different accommodation and hotels to be able to easily compare the prices and other characteristics. So as you can see here, I already entered some information from hotels in New York, London, Tokyo, and Paris. So let's say we decide to go to Paris for our holidays. I will enter another accommodation here so that I can compare the prices. So the location is Paris. Simply type it in. And then the name of the hotel is Le Meurice. So let's simply type it in again. And then the address is 228 Rue de Rivoli. Simply type it in. So then the check-in date will be the 6th of July since I want to compare it with the hotel above. And then let's say the checkout date is also the 8th of July. So on an important note, as you can see, when you are using Google Sheets and you want to type in a date, you can simply double click and you will see a little calendar appear. You can simply click and choose your date. If you are using Excel, however, you will have to type in the date manually. Excel, unfortunately, doesn't have the feature with the little calendar. Then you can simply type in the check-in time and check-out time. As you can see here, the number of night is totally automated. And then the cost, you will have to type it in. So let's say it's $300. So as you can see here, the total cost is also fully automated. Then you could add a link or some notes if you wanted to. So let's say that we prefer Le Meurice compared to the Hôtel de Crillon. So you can simply tick the checkbox, and as you can see, this one is highlighted. So now let's take a look at the Destination Overview tab. In this tab, you will be able to see all the top rated destinations as well as their important information. In this section, nothing is automated, so you have to enter all the information and you decide what you want to add, like the address, the opening hours, the price, and so on. So let's take an example together and enter some information. So on our second row, we have an empty space. So let's say that we go to Les Invalides. To add your picture in this square, you simply go to Answer and then to Image, insert image in a cell, and then you can browse your computer. Go to your downloads. I already downloaded a picture here, and then click on Open. And as you can see, it's gonna be inserted in the specific space. And then we can write the address. So we will simply write the name of this specific place. And then let's say the open hours are from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Simply type it in. And then let's say the price is 20 euros. We can also add a link. So I already browsed the internet and found the link on TripAdvisor. So I can simply type it in, copy it, and then paste it here on the right spot. And then as you can see here, you have a drop-down menu to rate this place. So let's say this is a 4-star. And then if needed, you have some place to write notes. So as you can see here, you will have a beautiful page with all your top-rated destination or places to visit. If you scroll down, you also have a place to list all the top-rated places to eat to make sure you enjoy the best food while traveling. Again, nothing is automated, so treat this section as a journal or a planner. So you simply have to type in the restaurant name, then the address. Then you have a drop-down menu to select the type. It's either like restaurant, ice cream, fast food, you see the drill. And then you also can type in the opening hours. You have a drop-down menu to select the price range. And then also a space to say if you need a reservation or not. You can also add a Google Map link to help you find easily the restaurant. And then you also have the rating feature here, and of course, a little space to take notes. So now let's take a look at the Travel Budget tab. The Travel Budget tab will ensure you stick to your budget and not overspend while traveling abroad. The first thing that you will want to set up in this tab is your budget. So you will want to enter the category and the budget associated. So as you can see here, I already entered some data like transport, accommodation, food, activities, and the budget associated. The real and the percentage column are automated, so you do not need to touch anything right now. It's gonna be filled in later. So in the budget table, let's enter a category together. So let's type in events, for example. So let's say we have a budget of $200 for this category. So while you are traveling, you will have to track your expenses in the transaction tracker. You can also, of course, plan this ahead and already enter some of your expected expenses before you even start your travel. You will want to enter the date, the amount, and select the category with the drop-down menu. At the end of your travel, your transaction tracker will be filled and you'll start to see data. So let's enter an example together. And let's say that we spend some money on an event on August 2nd. So let's say we spend like $150 going to a concert or something. So as you can see here, we simply type it in the amount and use the drop-down menu to select the category. And then you can also type in some notes if needed. So as you can see here on the left-hand side of the transaction tracker, you also have a table putting in order all your expenses from the beginning to the end of your travel. So as you spend money, as you can see in the left to budget column, your budget is decreasing. So this way you will easily keep track of your budget and exactly know where you spent too much. If you scroll up, you will see 3 charts summarizing all your expenses. So the first chart is showing you basically your expenses breakdown and shows you where you spend the most money. So as you can see here in the very small part of this pie, you see the events, so the $150 that we spent. Then the 2 other charts are representing your total expense versus your budget. The more you spend, the more the slope is going upward. And then you can see in all your categories how much you budgeted versus how much you spent in real life. As you can see here in this specific chart, we budgeted not enough for our accommodation and we spent too much. So on the left-hand side, you have your budget calendar. So as you can see here, where the dates are in dark green are the days where we spent the least. And then the day where it's like in light pink, and these are the days where we spent the most. So right below the calendar, you also have a currency exchange calculator. So simply select your country and the country you plan to travel to. If you cannot find your country in the drop-down menu, write it here and write the 3 letters of the currency. Those 3 letters can be easily found on Google if needed. Then again, look for your currency in the top drop-down menu. So then in the exchange rate section, we also added the real exchange rate. So for example, right now, while we film this video, the $1 is equal to 0.92 euros. So if we scroll down a little bit and go to the amount section, in the domestic currency cell, write the amount of money you are planning on using. So let's say that we want to use $5,000. Then you will see how much you will get in the foreign currency. So in our case, we get a little bit over 4,500 euros. And then this way you will be able to properly forecast how much you need. So now let's take a look at the distribution tab. The distribution tab will ensure that you and your travel partner share the bills equally. The first thing you will want to do is to write the spender's name. So in our case here, it's a honeymoon planner. So we basically just wrote the groom and the bride's name. So John and Julia. So you simply have to type it in the names. So then each time that you will have a transaction written in the budget previously shown in the budget tab, the data will auto-populated in this tab, more specifically in the transaction distribution table. Once you see a new transaction, you can simply use the drop-down menu in the spender column to associate this transaction to a spender. So let's say that we use our previous example, so the event that we spent $150. Let's say that Julia paid for this. So simply use the drop-down menu to select her name. So as you can see here, this specific transaction was then associated to Julia. So once you start to have data entered, you will see that the spender distribution charts changing. You will also see who spends the most money on which category. Then in the global distribution table, you will see a full breakdown of how much each spender spent on each category. And then finally, in the balance table, the spreadsheet will show you who owns money to who and how much. So now let's take a look at the daily itinerary tab. This tab will help you manage your daily itinerary. So as you can see here, the dates are fully automated based on the dates of your travel that you entered in the setup tab. Then as for the rest, so the activities, you will have to manually enter them. This way, you will know exactly where you will be and which activity you will be doing for each day of your travel. So as you can see here, we left a lot of room to write a lot of activities, and you even have some spare space to write notes. So now let's take a look at the checklist tab. This tab will help you prepare your travel and make sure that you do not forget anything. You simply have to list the tasks that you will want to do to prepare your travel and write the tasks and the name of the person in charge. Then when the task is done, simply tick the checkbox and you will see the task progression chart change. So let's take an example here. As you can see, every time I tick a checkbox, the task progression chart is moving. So let's enter an example together. So let's say what we want to book is our concert that we wrote earlier. So simply type it in concert. And then let's say that the person in charge is Julia, the one that paid for it. So as you can see here, it also moved in our task progression and we have an extra tasks that was added. So once it's done, simply tick the checkbox, and as you can see, the chart is also moving. So we basically break down this tab in when you book, 1 week before departure, the day before departure, on the departure day, and some extra to-dos. So you have plenty of rooms to add everything that you need to do to prepare your perfect honeymoon. So now let's take a look at the packing list tab. The packing list tab is to help you prepare your luggage. So there are only 2 tables since this spreadsheet is specific for honeymooner. So for this tab, don't forget to enter the name of the 2 honeymooners. So in our case, it's John and Julia. You simply have to type it in. So simply list for each person the items they need to bring as well as the quantity. Then when the item is in the luggage, simply tick the box and see the packing list graph progress. So this tab works exactly the same as the checklist. So you simply have to type in the item of clothing or accessory that you want to bring, as well as the quantity needed. So let's say that we add an extra clothing for Julia, let's say a swimsuit. And then let's say that she will pack only one. So now that we have all our data in the spreadsheet, let's go back to the Travel Overview tab. In this tab, most of the information is auto-populated. You only have to enter a few parameters like the destination currency and the language. You can also change the picture of your destination if needed. Basically, to change the destination picture, you can do the same process as we did in the destination overview. So at the top left of the page, you will see the countdown of your trips, so how many days left, as well as the general information. Then easily see your itinerary for the day. You can easily change the date to know what is on your plans for the next days without changing the tab. So simply use the drop-down menu to change the date, and as you can see, all the activities are updating. On the right, you will have your checklist and packing list progression to make sure that you don't forget anything before departure. Then at the bottom, you also have the information related to your budget. First, your initial budget, then the total expense, and then what you have left to budget. As you can see here, we are in the negative. It means that we spent more money than expected. Then you can compare your budget to the real expenses here. And you also have a quick summary of all your expenses and in which categories. Then you can see who spent the most and easily see who owes money to who, so that you can easily balance it out while traveling. So that's it. I hope this tutorial helps you easily set up your spreadsheet. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. Follow Priori Digital Studio on YouTube for sneak peeks on our new templates.